Bonjour à toutes et à toutes, aujourd'hui nous nous intéressons au cas de Chypre, pays membre de l'Union Européenne mais divisé en son propre sein. Situé à l'est de la Méditerranée, le pays possède comme voisins proches la Turquie et la Grèce, mais également la Syrie, le Liban et Israël. Chypre est une ancienne colonie britannique ayant obtenu son indépendance en 1960. Suite à un coup d'État raté par les généraux grecs en 1974, le pays est depuis divisé en 3 parties distinctes. Nous trouvons au sud de l'île la République de Chypre, où le grec est majoritairement parlé. Au nord se trouve la population turque, qui a fait sécession en 1983 pour proclamer la République turque de Chypre du Nord, qui n'est cependant reconnue par aucun pays en dehors de la Turquie. Enfin, une zone militaire britannique n'étant peuplée que de militaires et de leurs familles. Pour nous aider à comprendre, nous avons rencontré celui qui a été, de 2009 à 2021, le secrétaire général du Parti progressiste des travailleurs, principale force d'opposition de la République de Chypre, Andros Kyprianou.
Hello, Mr. Kyprianou.
Good morning, welcome to Cyprus.
Thank you very much. Firstly, could you introduce yourself briefly? Tell us where did you grow up in Cyprus and how did you enter in politics?
Well, I grew up in Strovolos. This is the area where I grew up. I became a member of our party at the age of 18. I became more active in politics immediately after the coup d'etat. I was 18 years at the time. My party is the Progressive Party of the Working People of Cyprus. Gradually, I became the Secretary General of the party in January 2009.
What is the influence of Greece and Turkey in their respective areas? And what are exactly the true powers of Cyprus?
Cyprus is an independent state. We got our independence in 1960. Of course, it was not a full independence, let's say, but we are an independent state. And no foreign countries should be allowed to intervene in our domestic affairs. Unfortunately, the constitution imposed to us at that time provided that we should have guarantor powers, namely Greece, Turkey, and Britain. And that gave them the right to intervene in the domestic affairs of the country. Now, in 1963, we had a conflict between the Greek and the Turkish Cypriots. And since then, we are living in the Turkish Cypriots were living in specific areas. In 1974, after the Turkish invasion, the coup d'etat organized by the Greek military junta and the extremist right wing in the Greek Cypriot community gave the opportunity to Turkey to invade in the country. And the population was shifted in separated areas. So since 1974, the Turkish Cypriots are living in the north and the Greek Cypriots are living in the south. Of course, nowadays we have some thousands of Turkish Cypriots living on our side because they find it better here. So since then, I would say that Turkey exerts a lot of influence on the Turkish Cypriot community. Now, on our side, I wouldn't say that Greece tries to influence the politics. That was happening in the past, but in the last few decades, Greece is not trying to influence the politics on our side. But unfortunately, there are politicians on our side and people who still believe that Cyprus is a Greek state and we should be, in a way, united with Greece. And this affects the policies promoted in our community. We are proud of our origin, but this is one thing, and it's another to say that our country should be instructed or united in a way either with Greece or with Turkey. We are an independent state, and if we need to understand that clearly, in order to have a bright future. Otherwise, the division between the two communities will continue.
You clearly affirm the independence of Cyprus as a whole, as a country. What would you say is the Cyprus's identity?
We as a party strongly believe that the Greek and the Turkish Cypriots have a lot in common. For example, we have a lot of common tradition as food is concerned. Culture, as you said earlier. For example, we have a lot of songs and dances which are exactly the same for both communities, and they are sung and danced in both communities. And there are dancing groups, joined dancing groups composed of Greek and Turkish Cypriots who make performances dancing this common cultural tradition we have. And as a party we promoted this a lot because we strongly believe that the rapprochement between the two communities is of vital importance in order to create the conditions for reuniting the country. If we manage to bring the people in the two communities together, then it will be much easier to build from down the reunification of the country.
To finish, what would you say is the situation of hypothetical reunification of the island today?
Well, I would say it's a very distant possibility. It takes actions which are deepening the permanent division of the country on the ground. And the worst of all, of course, is that Turkey is insisting that we should have, instead of having a solution of a federal solution, we should have a solution based on two separate states. They say that we should have a Greek Cypriot state and a Turkish Cypriot state. Of course, we know very well that they don't care about a Turkish Cypriot state. What they care about is to annex the occupied area and turn it to a Turkish territory. And this, of course, as you may understand, cannot be acceptable by us. So I strongly believe that it is of vital importance the next presidential election we shall have on our side, and of course in Turkey as well. If we elect somebody who will be keen to work in the direction of, to be consistent in the direction of having a federal solution, to be sincere with the Turkish Cypriots, then a lot of pressure will be exerted on Turkey, and we may have a conclusion. Otherwise, I am very much afraid that sooner or later we shall have the permanent division of the island, and this will be catastrophic.